What's good? It's Steven, aka the Visualizer. Thanks for checking out the video. This is another one in my Journey series, episode 17. Those who aren't specific with my series, it's really a testimony of my journey before and through my spiritual awakening that happened last year in August 2023. So this episode, the topic is going to be on lessons that I learned about manifesting. So chronologically, I'm going to step back a bit into December of 2023. Things were going really well for me, going really well for my friends. I was learning a lot and applying things and just feeling good. And I had finally found kind of a direction to go in with regards to looking into energy healing, and shit was all good. And one thing I learned very early on in my spiritual awakening journey is about the power of words, and particularly about how you have perspective on how things are going in your life and how you can speak things into existence, particularly bad. So very early on in my spiritual awakening journey, and I can't remember if I talked about this in any of the other videos, but I seemed to have this thing where like I would have one good day and then it would be followed by a bad day, and like things would happen on that bad day. And this is before I had a greater understanding of things. But I started getting into this habit of being like, okay, I would just mentally prepare for the bad day. It would be like, oh, I had a good day, so must be a bad day coming afterwards. And just that thought or saying those kind of things can actually create that into your reality. I didn't understand this at the time, but I started reframing. And when I wake up every day now, I pray at the beginning of the day for, gratitude prayer about how I'm just grateful to have another day in the human existence, and I'm grateful for all the different things I'm grateful for. And then I ended off with, I know today is going to be an amazing day, or some variant of that. And I shit you not, since I've been doing that, I've had very few bad days. There probably haven't even had a bad day. There have been all good days, but sometimes things happen, obviously we had adversity and whatever. But I haven't had like any horrendous days since I really started reframing my thoughts and perspective on that. So I'm not waiting for the shoe to drop, if you will, with the old saying. I just get up and I'm like, today's gonna be an amazing day, and I expect unexpected blessings to happen, and amazing things that I can't even fathom to go right in my life. And since I've been doing that, that's kind of what happened. So on the flip side of that, or similar to that, in December, everything was going well, and I had a streak, literally, like I wasn't counting or anything, but it had to be like a month and a half of like all great days where things went well and I was making progress and I felt good about myself. And I remember thinking to myself, damn, like I haven't had a bad day in a while, like I wonder what's up with that. And I was like, man, I don't really want that to happen, but it's just weird. And then like the next day had a bad day, and then like a week later, all of my friends and family got sick. And one of my best friends thought that he maybe got it from the gym. And we were both in the gym on the same day, like right before he got sick. And I was like, damn, like I haven't been sick in a while. Like I'm so lucky, like, damn, like, and I thought to myself right then and there, I was like, damn, like I was actually doing a lot of research on manifesting, and I wanted to test the theory out. And I was like, I want to get sick immediately. Woke up the next morning and had the most horrible flu and was like down and out for 3 days. And that's when I knew, I proved to myself like how powerful our minds, our imaginations, and our words can be. And I mentioned in previous videos, it's so much easier to manifest negativity into your life. So like negative self-talk, deprecation, like when things go wrong, or when you're like, you're down on yourself, maybe like you're not having success with like your love life, and you're like, I'm so ugly. When you say these kind of things, it reflects out to everyone else, and that's how they see you. And same thing with like, if you like continuously say like how broke you are, circumstances are going to keep perpetuating that, keep you from getting money that you deserve. So you got to be careful. It's harder, easier said than done, but you have to watch what you say and how you think, and kind of retrain your mind to be more positive and optimistic, and keep that negative. You're basically self-sabotaging yourself through life, most people, and they don't even realize it. So those are lessons I learned in negative manifesting. And then in February, I really thought I really had a good grasp on manifesting, the concepts behind it. I shot a video series that's up on my YouTube channel. I'll link it in the comments. It's like a 5-part video series about, I just wanted to kind of explain the concept of manifesting, how it was different from prayer and different things that you need to take into account. Because I started doing these things probably right in December after I had those negative manifesting experiences. And me and my best friend started doing it, and we started seeing great success with a lot of things. He actually saw more success than I did, and I was kind of pissed off about that because I had put him onto it. But whatever, that's my boy. So one thing that I was trying to manifest among many things, I was asked to dream big last year, right after my spiritual awakening happened. And I really started thinking about different things that I wanted in my life. Really like, pie in the sky dreams, things that, you would dream for as a kid and just think that were not logically possible. But anything is possible with God and the power that resides inside us. So one thing that I was dreaming of is I really wanted to move out of my apartment into my dream home. Again, I was out of work willingly. I didn't have money to pay a mortgage for a dream home or put a down payment or anything like that. But I just trusted that things would happen for me however they need to. That's part of the manifesting kind of high level, instructions, if you will, is that you don't have to worry about how it happens. Things will just happen and you just have to walk the path. So I just kept trying to manifest and affirm that I was going to move out of my apartment into a house. And steps started happening. People started just randomly pointing out things. Like the first thing, I talked to a mentor in my energy academy, and she was like, if you really want to get out of your apartment, you have to first start taking some action. So think about what actions you can take. And she was like, I had someone that I knew that had success with this, where they bought shipping and packaging stuff, and they started boxing up anything that they didn't need on their day-to-day to be ready for the move. And I was like, it's a great idea. So I did that. Bought like this box set on Amazon and just started boxing up the shit that I wasn't using just to be ready. Did that. And then one of the other things when you're manifesting is you have to be very specific as far as what you want. So I made a list of like 20 different things I was looking for in my dream house, just listed them down. And I didn't know where exactly I wanted this house to be. There were some areas that around here that I really like, that I've been drawn to, but I was pretty open to I'll live wherever, I'd like to stay in the area because I have friends and family there, but it is what it is. Like if there's somewhere that I'm going to be called to, I accept that. And kind of stagnated when I was doing the manifesting, the affirmations 3 times a day, trying to reprogram my subconscious because that's kind of part of it. And I really believed that something was going to break in my favor, and it kind of stagnated. And I told my best friend kind of about my dream, and he was like, you should go out to areas that you like around here and just look around. And the day that happened, I did a meditation and I actually had a vision of the front of a house. And I was like, okay, well, that's very topical since I'm looking for a house to move into. So the next day, I went up to this place that I really like a lot, this area I like a lot, and drove around, and there is this state park called Marsh Creek State Park. I think I've talked about it a few times on videos. It's a beautiful nature spot in Eagle, Pennsylvania. I went up there, and I just always liked the area. It's not too far away. And when I was coming out of there one day, I just turned off into the first kind of turn off cul-de-sac that existed. And I was like, let's just see what's going on with the housing market over here. And I turned into the first circle, and there was this house, and it looked very similar to the one that I saw in my vision. And it had a for sale sign on the lawn, and it said for sale, private owner. And it had a Zillow thing. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And I drove around the area for another hour and a half, just looking at all the houses that were for sale. And none of them really jumped out except for that very first one. So I went home, checked out Zillow, and I started looking at the house, and I started flipping through the photos, And literally all 20 of the things that I wrote down on my list of what I wanted in my dream house were in the photos. It was like amazing how it happened. So I'm like, okay, this is the sign. This is the house that I'm trying to get to. However that may be. So the house was, well out of my price range. Even if I had gone back to work and did similar work that I did before where I was making pretty good money, it's still just so far above kind of what I had made previously. So, but I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna be confident. There's gonna be a way that this works out. So, we stagnated for a little bit, and then I got the idea, like, again, it was for sale by private owner, so it wasn't listed anywhere. So I mailed the homeowner a letter, and I basically stated my intent that I was willing to purchase the house. They made me an offer that I would come up with the money and we would make it happen. I gave them my contact information. I told them a little bit about my spiritual journey and kind of how a set of kind of coincidences and signs led me to their house. I was like, I know how crazy this sounds, but it feels like it's meant to be. Never heard back from them. And then a couple of weeks went by, and mid-February came, and I got another vision. I meditated one day, and there was instructions, and it was like, if you really want to get out of this apartment, you need to get out of this apartment. So go to your leasing office and put in your 60 days notice, because that's the minimum that they accept. So I typed up a letter, walked right down there, and just basically told them that I was moving out. And I didn't have any idea where I'd be going in 60 days, but I just trusted that God and the universe would catch me and put me into where I needed to be. So those 60 days passed pretty quickly, and I was just waiting. I was meditating every day. I was looking for actions that I could take. I was checking up on that house. The house went off the market. They picked up the sign, and it was the for sale sign was going on the lawn. Then they pulled it from Zillow eventually, and I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. But again, I was open to not just that house. I was like, hey, I'm willing to live anywhere as long as it's an upgrade, just make some progress. So mid-April came, and I handled everything I needed to handle to get ready for my move, and ended up moving out of the apartment, and was just waiting, and got a lot of signs and synchronicities and channel messages that something big was going to happen in my favor. And what happened was absolutely nothing. So I moved out, and I didn't have anywhere to stay. I didn't tell anyone other than my best friend what I was doing. I didn't really want to put any worry or pressure on any of my friends, my other friends or family, because this was the path that I chose to walk myself. So I ended up homeless and slept in the back of my truck for a few weeks. And coincidentally, right when I moved out of my apartment, my finances dried up. I had some unexpected bills come out, and taxes and things like that, and really whittled me down to having very little money. So I was basically scrapping for food. I was living out of Marsh Creek State Park for a few weeks because they had water fountain and a bathroom, which is convenient. And I was just meditating and working on myself and just trying to figure out what was next on the path. And basically it was I followed my intuition to the letter of the law, but I didn't fully believe that something amazing was going to happen. And that's a real tough part of it, to kind of delusionally believe in these things, your dreams. And I think that it takes that level of commitment and trust that things are going to happen in your favor, because what naturally happens, to me at least, and probably many other people, is that you start thinking about worst case scenario. So a few days before I was getting ready to fully move out of the apartment and nothing had happened, I was like, damn, well, what happens if nothing happens? And I was like, okay, worst case scenario, I can just live out of my truck. I have put a lot of my stuff into a storage unit, and we can go there and figure it out. And the fact that I had kind of manifested that's actually what happened. That was the outcome, more or less, that I had spoken to existence because of fear and worry. And if I had kind of delusionally believed something amazing was going to happen. There are some other factors in play, primarily that I was unable to feel the emotions behind like the end result of my manifestation. So that's something I'm still dealing with. I have this thing with all my emotions have been repressed subconsciously for like the past couple of decades due to some trauma that I'm working through right now with some people. But that's a key thing that I believe is really blocking a lot of my blessings, is that I can't feel like the emotions that I'm supposed to when these things like potentially occur. So you have to really put the feeling into there. So yeah, and I went homeless for a few weeks, and then I just asked for direction one day, and things started happening. And I'm going to cover that in the next video because we're going pretty long. So yeah, so those mainly are lessons that I learned in manifesting going wrong, if you will. So hopefully you can take something out of that to kind of help you along if you're looking into a similar thing. Otherwise, thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully you got some insight out of it. Peace, love, and light.